Good evening. Take a deep breath. Exhale slowly. Relax. All the political ads are over. They stopped at 4 this afternoon here on News 13. In 1.5 hours, the polls will close. The first results will start coming in shortly after that. The governor's race is the big one, and News 13's Ian Schwartz has been tracking the final hours. He is live downtown.
That's right, Dick. On the phone, in person, and online. Both parties have been hitting it hard in the final hours before the voters decide their fate. An exciting group of volunteers greeting Diane Dennis at her campaign office in Albuquerque with only hours to go in the election. The team worked the phones to help get Democrats out the door and in front of a ballot. Even with poll after poll putting Dennis behind Martinez, she says now is not the time to give up.
Every minute of every hour counts as we move into the last cycle of voting here.
Dennis says connecting with Dems who may think the election is already over is huge.
Those people we hope are going to the polls today, they're the people we're trying to reach.
200 miles to the south, the story is no different. Since this morning, Martinez troops worked the phones at the Bernalillo County Republican headquarters. Martinez wasn't available for comment, but has said even with a lead in the polls, her campaign is still beating the pavement for votes. Dennis says their numbers tell them the fight isn't over.
The work continues right up until 7 o'clock.
And that's right, the polls do close at 7, and once the ballots are counted, the governor's race, which has been long and sometimes brutal, will come to a close, and our new governor will be sure to have her hands full. Back to you.
All right, Ian Dennis will be in Albuquerque tonight awaiting the results. Martinez is still a couple hundred miles south in her hometown, Las Cruces. We are in both places live. There are about 400,000 registered voters here in Bernalillo County. Turnout is expected to be a little more than half that, and many people who intended to vote actually did so before today. The county clerk estimates that only about 90,000 people will cast ballots today in this county. So, how's the turnout been? News 13's Jim Winchester is live at the Wells Park Community Center. Jim?
And Dick, turnout all around has been pretty low. In fact, the poll workers here tell me that this is about the busiest time of the day. And as you can see right now, just a few lines out there, and it doesn't expect to get too much worse as the polls continue to remain open until 7 p.m. tonight. Things do remain relatively light. And that's pretty much been the theme of the day. Bernalillo County Clerk Maggie Toulouse-Oliver said a light turnout so far is not surprising considering the trend of more and more people voting early or absentee. Now, she estimates that over 60% of all voters in the county have already cast their ballots. Now, there have been a few minor problems to report. Up to 20 voting machines that collect the ballots didn't work this morning first thing. They were either fixed or replaced.
We've had a couple of, electioneering complaints, campaigns and whatnot, maybe getting a little too close to the polling place, providing information and stuff within the polling place. Of course, that's inappropriate. And so we've been dealing with those complaints as they come, but they have been minor issues.
We visited a half dozen different polling locations today. The biggest complaint that we got from voters, how long the ballot was. Dick, back to you.
Jim, we just updated with the county clerk's office a few minutes ago. They tell us that as of 2 this afternoon, the last time they had a count, 32,000 people had voted in this county today, well below the 90,000 they're expecting by 7. But it is on a par with the last governor's election. However, it's well below the turnout at the same time 2 years ago in the presidential election. New Mexico's 3 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives are also on the ballot. Democrats hold them all right now, but that could change. Here in the Albuquerque area, there has been an intense fight between incumbent Martin Heinrich and Republican challenger John Barela. Heinrich had been leading, but the last Albuquerque Journal poll showed Barela had pulled ahead by 4. In southern New Mexico, former Congressman Steve Pierce is battling to take back the House seat now held by this man, Democrat Harry Teague. The latest Albuquerque Journal poll had Pierce up by 3. And in northern New Mexico, Republican Tom Mullins has been closing the gap on Democratic Congressman Ben Ray Lujan. Some people say that race could be the surprise of the night.